morning. Now this week we're going to talk about doing video calls. I know a lot of us have never done these in our life before, and I thought it'd be helpful to put together some really simple tips that I've learned over the last few weeks that will make you look a little bit better on a video call. So first of all, this is kind of me. I've just got up. I've got very basic light makeup on. One of my normal sweaters, kind of quite black, this is a fine merino, Urban Glen is the brand. It's one of my favourites, but I would say black doesn't translate brilliantly on screen, so I'm going to show you how you can lift. So the first thing is, I have got a little bit of makeup on, just some concealer and mascara, but the first thing is lipstick. So let me try and do this without getting it on my nose. Can you see what a difference that bit of colour in my face makes? I think it's huge. So that's my lipstick. I have got a bit of bronzer on as well. You've got to think that when you're on screen, whether it's Zoom for a work call or whether you're FaceTiming your family, it will make your face look flat. So do lift your features with a bit of bronzer as well. And thirdly, I think we're all feeling a bit peely-wally right now, especially on a day like today. That means pale if you're not from Scotland. So my top tip for this would be, hope you can see that, Tan Luxe Super Glow. It's a very light fake tan for the face, but you put it on like a serum and you can put your moisturiser over the top, because previously when I've used any tan on my face, you can't put anything on the top and it does feel quite drying on the skin. Because this is an oily serum, it's really great and it's very subtle. Look how pale I am and it works on me. So Tan Luxe, Space NK I think is the best place to get it. So that's the beginning, put your lippy on. Secondly, now I've said this before, but a collar always helps. So these, I have a couple of these and I actually bought them on Amazon and they're completely brilliant. So let me just show you. I'm kind of not putting it on quite so properly, but you'll get the idea. Oh, I've lost it completely. Here it is. So there's your collar, and that's your collar, but without the bulk of a full shirt underneath. And I think you'll agree, it just makes you look more crisp and businesslike, particularly if you're in a work kind of capacity, a corporate job. I was speaking to a friend at the weekend who's a lawyer, and I was completely horrified when she told me that she does all her corporate calls in her exercise gear at the moment. This is not acceptable. We need to raise our game a little bit. So yeah, I just got a simple jumper on. This could be any jumper, and I've just added this face framing kind of more business-like collar. If you wear glasses, I mean, immediately you just look like you're in a working environment and you're quite serious and you know what you're talking about. So that's my first thing. Obviously it doesn't have to be black, you could do any colour. I'm using the black though because I wanted to show you some accessories that would work around this look, and you could just chuck on really quickly 5 minutes before the call. So with the collar and the jumper, you can go down the kind of J. Crew route. This is what J. Crew were kind of famous for before it went horribly wrong. So that's kind of quite a nice chunky choker. It's just adding a bit of something that people can focus on in the call, but it's not taking away. It's just making you look a bit more pulled together. And then if my mum's watching, yes, I have nicked these from your jewellery box. These are some Chanel-y pearls. So, you know I'm all about the classics, and, you know, they just work with the white collar. So, you know, don't be scared. Don't just leave it at that. Kind of chuck them all on. There's some more, and I've got one more here. And I think it still looks serious, but it looks a bit fashiony, and most of all, it's Chanel, so it looks a bit classy. So I kind of love that as well if you're doing a Zoom call. So let's talk about actually being on film like this, and how should it be. The biggest mistake most people make is looking straight at their laptop or their iPad. This is an absolute no-no. Some people even look down, which means the camera is actually going up your nose. This is not good. What you actually want is, I'm going to adjust my camera right now actually. What you actually want is the camera to be above you looking down. So if you're on a laptop, a phone, an iPad, have a little pile of books or a big box and sit your appliance there and have it facing down. I've got mine on a tripod right now, so it's doing that for me. But if I'm doing like a FaceTime at home, I would always put my laptop a bit higher and facing with the screen tilted down on me. It's much more flattering. I think it was Tom Ford that came out recently and said that, and you know, if there's somebody that knows how to do things stylishly, it's Tom Ford. So yeah, have your laptop above you. If you want to go a bit further, if you've got a favourite side to your face, have a lamp in that side, lighting that side. So for me, it would be here, and I'd have a lamp here. So that's the technical kind of chat on how to look good in a Zoom call. The main thing for me, I know I've showed you black and white, but you know, we were talking at the beginning about maybe doing a corporate call and doing something where you have to look a bit serious. I think colour is hugely important. Bright colours amplify on screen. They really brighten things up. You'll have seen that from the video I did last week with the pinks and the reds and all of that. So I'm going to show you some colour options. I would say you can use print, but use print with caution. You don't want the print to be too busy. Stripes can be a bit tricky because they can strobe. So mainly I would go for a collar. Could be a wide collar, it could be an interesting sleeve, anything good that's going on up here, and colour. So let me show you some options. This is lovely. So this is a colour which is going to look good and soft on a lot of people. I'm going to take my collar off and just show you the collar on there as well, because that's going to look super cute. If I can just, it's not really very easy not doing it on yourself, but oh, I'll get there, stay with me. So yeah, as I said before, these little I think they're called what are they called, attachable collars on Amazon. And make sure you get a woman's one, not a man's one, because the men's ones look a little bit stiff. But could also be a soft little collar. I quite like the sort of Peter Pan kind of, yeah, rounded collars as well, or it could be an oversized collar, could be really pretty. But I think that's really lovely. It's a bit softer than the black. What you want to do, particularly if you're on a Zoom call and there's maybe 20 people on it, you kind of want to stand out a bit. And I always kind of like to look a bit soft rather than too hard. So this is a lovely cornflower blue colour for that. And then you know I love my brights. So these are from Chinty and Parker. This one I would say is just my favourite. Absolutely gorgeous. That kind of colour blocking, colour clash, but all really tonal. And it's got beautiful camel in the bottom. And finally a shirt in the same collection if you're a shirt lady. And of course we'd be doing the French tuck with the shirt. So I hope that was useful. I hope you've picked up some tips for your next Zoom call or FaceTime. Tune in next week. We'll get together. We'll get through this together in style.